Longevity Lifestyle Designers. This is Zach here, and I have a recipe here for you today. It is called the Hedonistic Hyperion Herb Elixir. I'm starting with 2 cups of herbal tea that I just finished making and 1 cup of spring water, and of course the tea was made with spring water as well. And I always do a little bit of water, a little bit of tea, just so it's not too strong if it's not a particular palatable tea. This one has a lot of tea tonics, and this is a clip of me making the tea and I explain what's in it. So I've got my Hedonistic Hyperion Herb tea base for this elixir brewing here. I've got an astragalus root in there, a ginseng root, a bit of nettle root, also horsetail. That's actually the only non-tonic herb in here. And then also it's mostly a chi tonic tea. So yeah, I mentioned the ginseng and the astragalus, but there's also white atractylodes and poria, which is commonly used alongside chi tonics to help in the drying of the spleen, which is drying out the spleen or reducing the dampness in the spleen and the digestive system is great for the springtime when after the winter we may be a little bit damp internally. So that particular blend of herbs has a bit of a odd flavor to it. I mean, Chinese herbs can do that. Sometimes they can be really delicious in my opinion, but this one has a bit of a musty smell. But that's just what you get sometimes with these herbs. So I'm going to start off with the ingredients that I'm going to blend for a longer period of time than some of the other ingredients. So I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of bee pollen, and it's a dehydrated bee pollen that I get, so normally that would actually be probably an ingredient you want to add at the end, or the second blend, so that it's not getting as broken down. But because it's dehydrated, I want it to sit in there and soak a bit in the liquid and get soft and get broken up by the longer, higher powered blend that I usually do at first. And that's just my own personal preference as to how I blend my drinks. I'm going to add in 4 tablespoons of chia seed, and then also 1 tablespoon of cacao nibs. I put this in just so that the cacao nibs get blended up nicely on the higher speed. I'm also going to do 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, which I almost forgot about. That's just to get some extra zinc, and pumpkin seeds also have a bit of vitamin K. And then we're going to blend. There we go, it's all chopped up nicely. Right off the bat, I'm going to add 1 egg. You guys know I'm partial to eggs, raw eggs right in the smoothie. If it's not your thing, find something else. Maybe do coconut oil, maybe do hemp seed if you want the protein. Actually, hemp seed has the exact identical protein as egg white. 35% of hemp protein is albumin, which is, egg white is basically just albumin, which is a very easily digestible protein. And the other 65% of hemp protein is edestin, which is even more digestible. So yeah, hemp protein is great, but I eat a lot of hemp, so in this particular drink I'm just foregoing that. The reason I'm calling this the Hedonistic Hyperion Herb Smoothie is because I'm going to add the rainbow of Hyperion herb flavors, or herbs, to the drink. I've got all 5 here. Chaga, Reishi, Ho Shou Wu, Cordyceps, and Cistanche. We're going to put half a teaspoon of each right in the drink. I just got these today in the mail. I'm very excited. I have yet to try some of these and hadn't bought them all at once. And Brandon was kind enough to send them my way. And yeah, if you want to know more about Hyperion herbs and those herbs I just mentioned that I'm adding to this drink, check out the link below the video, which takes you to hyperionherbs.com, and you can learn about them. You can also purchase them if you're interested in trying them. These are very potent extracts. They vary. Some are 10 to 1. This one is 8 to 1. There's, I believe the Ho Shou Wu is 18 to 1. Yeah, it's an 18 to 1 extraction. And so that means that there's 10, 8, or 18 pounds of an herb to create 1 pound of this extract. So that's a very potent way to get your herbs into your body without the difficulty in having to do a lot of processing if you're eating the herbs, if they happen to be edible, or if you're making teas. It can be a lot of work constantly making teas every day. So it's good to have on hand just to change things up if that's what you choose. Now we're adding the Ho Shou Wu, which is very high in zinc as well. And these taste very strong because they're the extracts. I was tasting them earlier and wow, they're powerful. And they actually make the drink very creamy because they're not, because it's almost like a dehydrated liquid. They make an extract, which is in the liquid form, whether it's water or alcohol based, and then they dehydrate it. So it's basically a dehydrated tea, and so it mixes in very smooth. If you could just mix it into plain water if you wanted to make your own tea without the anything else that you see featured here. Here's the chaga. Then of course I'm going to add some raw cacao powder, 2 tablespoons. Right in there. It's late, but you know I'm going to get some work done tonight, I guess. I'm going to have that energy and vitality and awakefulness. You know, this would be a great morning drink too, but here's a tablespoon of maca. And then finally a tablespoon of mesquite in terms of the powders and superfoods I'm adding to this drink. Then I'm going to add 3 drops of red mandarin essential oil, which includes the rind. So it's basically the oil in the rind of red mandarin, which is actually what is often used in traditional Chinese tonics. When they brew them up, they'll often add citrus peel, which is, if not the same species, it's a very similar species. And then of course I'm going to add some squirts of stevia extract. Straight in there. I'll do 2 for now and I'll test the sweetness of it. So now we're going to blend it up again. Not as high, I won't go as high. So you just saw me adding a bit of extra water there because it was a little too thick for my preference. It's quite bitter. I'm going to add one more squirt and then mix it up again. So I consider myself a conscious hedonist. If you're not familiar with the term hedonist, a hedonist is someone who decides to live a life of pleasure, basically. And hedonism often has a negative connotation with it. People who are obsessed with sex, drugs, alcohol, and all these things that are supposedly pleasurable when taken in the way that they take them to. Now, I believe that without vilifying any of those one category specifically, a conscious hedonist, which is a term I created for myself, is someone who enjoys pleasurable things, but instead of approaching it from a sort of first taste kind of place. So if we're talking about eating food that's pleasurable to the taste, you know, if it tastes good in the mouth, that doesn't mean it's going to make your body feel good. So a conscious hedonist embraces the way their whole body feels towards something, whether it's food, whether it's sex, whether it's other activities in life. So there are people that overdo pleasure and they abuse their body and other people and food and all these other things, which has a negative effect on their being. And then there's people that vilify everything, which is what we would call an ascetic. And this is often attributed to people who are very spiritual. They're ascetics. They go off, starve themselves, and deny all the pleasures of the flesh. And it can get extreme where they're whipping themselves or castrating themselves. I even think female and male circumcision is a form of this. It's like seeing the body as sins. We live in this life not having proof of certain things, and we got to be careful what we take on as belief system, while maintaining the possibility of who knows what could be real, what could be, and we maintain a lifestyle that is going to bring benefit to ourselves, but as well as others. And you can do that through pleasure. You can bring pleasure into other people's lives through various means. Whether if you're an artist, a musician, a lover to a partner, if you're a chef. So we know with things like drinks like these that are so packed full of nutrition, vitality, and good herbal goodness, they the potential for pleasure within ourselves is increased. And we can then manifest that into the world around us. And that's what we all want anyways, isn't it?